Hey, Shalom, Shalom, all praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles, Elder Bishop, the Great Millstone, who rule well. Peace and blessings, salutations to you fellow brothers pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. Rachak. Coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Shalom to the elect. Okay, this is going to be a walk and talk lesson. I was going to do a sit down, but I ended up just like, let me go on for my little daily walk and do this lesson. Now, I was trying to pull up the video. I don't know, YouTube tripping or just my phone, so the video's not available. But I should be able to download it, and I'll put some of the clips in the beginning of the video if you probably already haven't seen it. And this is based upon a video that I watched. It was real quickly. It's from the CBN News Network, and I believe that's the Christian Broadcast Network. I believe that's what it is, the Christian Broadcast Network. And it's basically Netflix under fire over inappropriate kid shows. And I remember this happened a couple years back as well. There was a Netflix show in which I believe it was in Brazil or something like that, where they had like really young girls, 11, 12-year-old girls, where they were dressed very provocative, short clothing. And it was like a dancing movie, I believe it was a dancing movie. It could have been a show, but I believe it was like a dancing movie where they was dancing all, provocative and this and that. And there was like a kind of like a mini uproar about that. And then it died down. And then here we have pretty much the same thing. They're coming back with it. And now this time they're pushing heavy the trans and the trans agenda and, the homo agenda, men on men, women on women. In this case, I didn't watch the whole video, so it could have been more clips. I watched just a couple of minutes. It was, women, animation, AI animation and shit, children's shows. This is for the children. They have where, two women are kissing and then their friends are cheering it on amongst other, a little boy that thinks he's a girl. It's just real weird, but we already know what time it is. Okay. And we know that this is another sign of America's impending judgment. Okay. And who the biblical Edomites are. And who's really behind all this perverted SHIT going on in the earth. And that starts with Amalek. Okay, they're the ones who push all the adult industry, perverting the minds of the people, having them watch them adult videos. And now they're sexualizing the children as well, because they want the children, the older individuals in their plan, in the NWO, they're about to be taken out. So they want this new generation to have no boundaries, to have no limitations, to be, confused in the mind, especially when it comes to their gender. Because when an individual is undecisive about their gender and there's no clear gender roles and it can be fluid, they're literally liable to do any and everything. All right, and this is the next generation that Edom wants. Okay, because these people are easily deceived, easily manipulated. All right, and there's something that happens when a child is introduced to that at that young age. It messes up their mind, and this is why you have so many people that are bugged out now. All right, so the first thing that was popping into my mind was this is spiritual Sodom. Okay. The same things, I would argue that it's actually worse now, than it was back then, because it was back then it was just isolated in one, in those 5 cities, it was just isolated in those 5 cities, the debauchery, alphabetism, they were just men and women burning in their lust. What they did with the children. Pompeii was like that as well. And the Lord used Sodom, those surrounding cities, as examples, okay, for those, and we'll get that, Lord's will, those that will live unjustly, ungodly, which shows you that Esau does not respect the scriptures. There is no push, okay, there's no actually active push from the top down to actually stop all these things from actually happening. The right might complain about certain things, but they're okay with really, if you're being trans or you're being homosexual, they're okay with that. And a lot of them, Esau on the right, he be dressing up too. He be dressing up as women. The Edomite, he's the most perverted nation on the planet Earth. Okay, and this is the end result of a perverted nation in charge of the earth. Total madness. Just everybody is just rebellious. All right, and that's that wine that Babylon has went around and made all the earth to drink. And now you have all these other nations, they're in a like manner all perverted and all messed up. So let me bring this out. Revelation 11:8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. Okay, and we're in the great city, all right, which is America. All right, and they pride themselves for being the top military, the greatest country, the most freedom, okay, of all the nations on the planet Earth. Okay, and the dead bodies are speaking about the Israelites in a spiritually dead state. Okay, not calling themselves Israelites, but in all actuality, calling themselves black, calling themselves Puerto Rican. I remember this one Jake said he's asking what his nationality was. He said hip hop. You know, Jake identifies as a man will identify as a woman. You can identify as a basketball. You can identify as a dog. It don't matter who you are, as long as you love Jesus, as long as you follow your truth. And that behavior, that mindset has completely messed up the people's minds and has, ultimately brought in judgment. And greater judgment is coming, okay? All right, it says, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. So we will be dead in a dead-like state. All right, spiritually dead in a dead-like state, the Israelites, in a physical city, a great city, which is Babylon the Great, in which within this city, it will be called also spiritually Sodom. Okay. It says, which spiritually is called Sodom in Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Now we know he was crucified in Jerusalem, but when you go into that word, it means to cross out. So the real image, all right, the real attributes of who we know as Yahweh Shai, okay, the world calls him Jesus Christ. He was crossed out, all right, and then the image of Cesar Borgia, all right, the so-called white man, he was put up. And not only was he put up, but his doctrine also followed. And what is the doctrine of Jesus Christ? Anybody can make it. God loves everybody. Jesus is God. Love. Come as you are. Okay. Repent, but don't repent from what? What are you repenting from? Okay. They don't tell you what love is. They say the law is done away with, but then they say return and repent and come back to Jesus Christ. So the story just doesn't add up. And under the biblical Edomite, under Jesus Christ, the world is at the brink of World War III. Would not Jesus Christ come and stop everything from all these things happening? And you can see within the American government, they don't talk about Jesus Christ. Now that the right is coming, they'll throw in particular, trigger words, but their actions are completely satanic. All right, so and this is a prime example, because the government is the law of the land. They should be able to tell these companies, all right, what type of content you can make and what kind of content you can't make. Well, here it is. There's certain things that you can't speak about. Online. You can't speak about, particular psyops, the C-19 openly, 9/11 openly. You can't speak about the small hats openly. Okay, you can't criticize, you can't criticize those small hats, what they're doing. You can't really criticize the U.S. government and what they're doing. Okay, but you can't do that. But you can put, trans If you tapped in with the trans, you could put up trans fucking footage and little girls on little girls footage, and it can be marketed to children. It is so. Let me get 2 Thessalonians, because this is just complete madness. Okay. Remember, just Lot vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. He was amongst this, and we're amongst this. And you have to ask yourself, is it getting any better? Is America getting any better, or is it getting more degenerate? And the answer is, all right, it's getting more degenerate. All right, and the devil, he's coming out, even though the people, a lot of people, they can see it. Now, I was trying to, let me see if I can click the video again now, and it loads up, because it wasn't loading for whatever. Okay. Give me a second. Yep. Okay, it loaded. It's because I wanted to read some of these comments. This is the first comment. I rarely see a boy and girl kiss in a kid's show. I'm so confused as to why they are forcing two of the same gender kissing. Kids should not be watching that. What a wicked world we live in. So there's a sentiment of the people like, man, y'all going too far. Y'all going too far. But see, your opinions have been so polarized, and they're so far left or so far right, and you've let in the so-called happy community to where now you can't really rebuke anything. Under Biden, they were trying to push the MAPS, the minor attracted person. They tried to push it for a couple of months, and then they backed off. Esau's this motherfucker, he's not stopping. Okay, he's here to pervert all things and to turn everything upside down. Okay, that's what the devil's here to do. He's here to pervert everything. And if you speak out against it, this is why they want to control, the flow of energy online, or the flow of, which is the energy, the flow of truth or media, and people's thoughts. That's why now when you go on YouTube now, I just noticed that you can't directly, on my phone, I should say that. Let me know if anybody else sees that. You can't directly see the comments. You have to actually click on the comment section to open up the comments on the video. Okay, because there's a lot of videos Esau's getting flamed, and just like this video, people are like, this shit is wicked. This is evil. Y'all, okay, the gays, okay, cool, and you with a woman, you want to be with a woman, all right, cool. Let y'all do that. That's fine. You have your own little community, and people agree to that. But now they're coming after the kids. Now they're coming after the children, and it's been a big push, and they ain't stopping. Okay, which is going to justify, which we see why the Lord is going to completely wipe out, Babylon the Great, and it's going to go out like Sodom and Gomorrah. But let me go to 2 Thessalonians, and I'm just going to let this pass while we walk by these dogs. Okay. All right. So I want to 2 Thessalonians 2. I'm gonna jump around 2 and 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High. First, he comes out and says he is of the Most High, and gets people's emotion riled up. Yeah, God, Jesus loves. But he tosses that, and then he puts up his demonic agenda right in front of your face. But you're so stressed out, tired, bloated. Okay, low energy. Okay, you got kidney issues. You on high blood pressure medicine. All right, and then you got to work 2 jobs. So you can't really worry about too much. You can't really, you just, order something quick to eat, get a burrito, some tacos that's fucking you up, drinking soda. So how could you fight against the government when you all fucked up? And this is exactly how they want it, to where you don't really have a voice, and then you're so comfortable and complacent that you don't even really say anything. All right, because it's not your business. But see, now it's creeping up into everybody's daily lives. It's too fucking obvious. It's too crazy. You hear this? You know, it's a new show on Netflix. You got the children. You know, you stressed out. Let the children watch some TV. You know, get them quiet. And you come into the room to check on them, and it's two little girls kissing each other. You know, and what can you do? All you can do is so-called, you know, say, you know, I'm not gonna boycott Netflix, but your ass is addicted to Netflix. So you what can you do? You don't have any power. Okay, and the government is not saying this is not the type of activity that needs to go on. They're actually allowing it to happen. They're all for it. They're complicit with it. Okay? Which just shows you that really, let me read it again, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, because within the scriptures there's boundaries. There's do's and don'ts. There is a clear definition of evil and there's a clear definition of good that's set in stone. And no other book, no other philosophy, no other doctrine that you can go to that has a clear definition of right and wrong. That's why the law is there. Okay, and we understand that Esau, he opposeth himself against everything of the Most High. Where do you find the Most High? Where do you find his characteristics, his likes, his dislikes, the separation between holy and profane? Well, it's in the scriptures. But he says he's of the God, he holds of the Bible, but he does not follow any of the principles. He does not follow so-called Judeo-Christian principles. All right, he follows Satan, and it's clear as day, and we can see it. And people are starting like, man, what the fuck is what's going on? The devil. The devil, he's been here the whole time. All right. Or that is worshipped so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. All right. So he's in that power position. Okay. He's in that power position, basically saying he's God. They're going to go to different planets. They're genetically modifying DNA, okay, of creatures. Okay, we're the main creature. He's injecting people with all type of shit. He's experimenting on people. He's creating weapons of mass destruction. He's creating psyops. He got the people's mind all fucked up. He got them tired and sick and overweight. Okay, and just, you know, irritated. He's ruling the people in anger. He's beating down the nations. He's not letting nobody get a break. All right, so the Most High, he will take this man out. This is not living. This is not living for you to turn on the goddamn TV and see two children kissing, two whether they were, you know, like teenagers, talking about, I really liked you. I really, you know, oh, I was waiting for you to say that. It is complete madness. And this is why you have so many of these goddamn bug outs now. So look, when the judgment start raining down, don't shed a fucking tear. Okay? And we're not going to shed a tear when the judgment start raining down on these Babylonians. That includes Jake as well. Okay? All right, I'm going to jump down. Verse 9, even him who's coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. So he comes in the spirit of Satan. Well, let me get that scripture, how he transformed himself into that 2 Corinthians. Bear with me. Even Satan. And that's what he's done. Okay. What is that? Bear with me. Is that 2 Corinthians 11? Yep. 2 Corinthians 11. 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. And well, let me read 15. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Hamashiach. Okay, and Esau's in that realm as well. He's basically says, you have the Catholic Church. He's basically said that he is the authority of the Bible. Okay, and he has a whole system set up in which you have to go through him even to teach the Bible publicly. Okay, as far as if you want a church or a religious organization and you want tax exemption status, and this is how he gets you. He said, yeah, you You can have this church, but you got to teach the breakdown that I teach you, okay? And you got to uphold this, and I'll allow you to grift your congregation, all right? And it's tax free. Don't worry about it. You ain't got to pay no taxes because it's bigger than the money. He wants the mind. He wants to pervert you. And under Christianity, under the black church, okay, that's subservient to the so-called white church, the Edomites, or you have let this shit go on. You have allowed homosexuals, okay, to be deep in your church, to preach. Because it was like a taboo for Jake to be a sodomite. But now that shit is out in the open. And then you got the woman as in leadership, which completely destroyed everything. But I digress, right? It says, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. See? It says, therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, who in shall be according to their works. So here it is. Esau gave you this facade that he is of the Bible. He's God. He actually put images of himself up as God, up as the Messiah. Okay, and he has people worshiping him. They might not be bowing down to him physically, but mentally they're bowing down to him, because when they look at that image and they actually conceive God in their mind, all right, a white man pops up. And then they see the white man, okay, the so-called white man, they see him on a daily basis in a power position, okay, in authoritative position. And they look at that as God. And he has godlike powers on the earth, okay? What so-called black, Hispanic, Native American has the power to bomb other nations, to subjugate other nations, to infringe on their territorial integrity, their sovereignty, okay? What Jake nation, or what people have the power to print their own money, okay? To even export their own industry, their own resources. Who owns all those resources in Latin America? Who owns all those resources in West Coast Africa? Do some research. Just do some research and see who actually controls those resources. Okay, they'll have untapped oil, but Esau, he controls the refineries. He won't allow, he'll do embargoes on you, so you can't even pump the oil from your country and spend that money on your people, to bring them out of poverty. Same thing. Look, what about Cuba, the tribe of Manasseh? Okay, they've been in economic sanction for forever. Okay, no medical, it's a big ass wasp. No medical system that's worth anything. The majority of the women, they have to turn to prostitution. Look at all the Latin tribes. The majority of the women, they got to turn to prostitution. That's the only thing that's selling. Ass. All right. So Esau, he got a lot to pay for. And you got certain Jakes that say, no, the white man, he's good. He doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to pay for anything. Just love Jesus. Why y'all mad? The Hebrew Israelite doctrine, that's demonic. Just love Jesus. We've been doing that. Okay. And what happened? Look, we're in a even lower state. Has loving Jesus, has that stopped Esau from coming in with ICE? Has that stopped Esau to coming in with the National Guard? All right, has that stopped Esau from calling you animals and monkeys and savages and rapists, all right, and drug dealers? Has that even stopped niggas from peddling drugs? Has that stopped niggas from pimping their women, for trafficking their women? All right, for murdering their brother? Has that stopped it? Has Christianity stopped any of that? So I don't want to hear none of that fucking Jesus shit. It don't work. It's done. All right, number one, it's a false god. It does not bring our people back to unity with their power. Okay? It sinks them deeper into mental slavery. And now Esau getting ready to put a chip in you. And under Christianity, it is allowed. Okay? Let me see. Yeah, I'm done there. And yeah, and I'm done. Well, let me go back to 2 Thessalonians and finish this. 2 Thessalonians 2:10. And with all, let me read 9 again. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonder, that he's been given power to perpetuate all these false miracles, that pseudoscience. Okay, the existence of Esau, him being the hunk of the earth, him being the most intellectual individual on the earth, him being a scholar, him being, the pinnacle of evolution. That's all pseudoscience, and he's prospered under his pseudoscience. He's prospered under his iconoclasm. He prospered under his Renaissance. But now the writing is on the wall. People are not believing him like, they used to believe him, and they're looking at his work. See, this is the thing. All we have to do is just sit back and just watch what Esau's doing. Okay, look at his works. He's allowing degeneracy. He's allowing degeneracy. And when you go into all these big multi-international companies, all these big streaming platforms, all these big tech companies, it all goes back to a particular people. Okay, it all goes back to a particular people that's pushing degeneracy on the planet Earth, and we're calling it out. Okay, let me bring out a scripture. All right, I'll bring out this one first. We're calling it out. All right, and we're calling everybody out. Everybody can get it. Okay, let me get the one in Isaiah first. Okay, it's some bullshit. Nevertheless, it was all set up from the beginning, all right, for prophecy's sake, in order for the Lord to take this place out. Okay, so let me bring this out. This is Isaiah 62:6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace. And here you got Jake arguing with us. If the Gentiles can make it, God loves everybody. But what about all this bullshit that's going on earth? Do you so-called Christians, do you speak out against this? Where's the Christian outcry? All right, you'll have more individuals march and line up for because the so-called government is attacking abortion. You can no longer get just no questions asked abortion in particular states. They'll march against that. They'll march against for trans rights, okay, LGBT rights, okay, drag show queen rights, just bullshit. But when it actually comes to things that are righteous and that are right, they don't march for those things. They don't protest those things, because you have a wicked ruler in rulership, and as the ruler is, so are these officers. As the ruler of the city is, so are the people. So these people are just many Edomites. Their thought process is just like an Edomite. All right, and with the thought process of an Edomite, you can argue everything. Everything is up for debate. Nothing means nothing. Okay, everything is subjective. Okay, everything's a lie. All right, and he's been in such a power position to where he ain't even got to answer their own questions. Okay, but now he's being questioned too much, and now he's getting ready to shut down this internet. And then when he brings it back online, he's gonna have all these control mechanisms already put in place. This is why he's rolling out the digital ID. All right, so that digital ID can be tied to your biometrics and can be tied to your internet browsing history, or you even be able to tap in and get on the internet. Okay, so he's coming down draconian. He about to stop anybody that has something to say against his agenda. Okay, you got something to say against his agenda, he gonna cut you off. All right, and take you out. All right, he's gonna lay a digital siege against you, turn your fucking chip off. Well, turn it off, Esau. Okay, because the Most High, he's gonna turn your fucking lights off. All right, you piece of shit. All right, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. Yeah, this ain't peaceful. This is not a peaceful existence. This is a fucking hellhole. All right, you have so many of our people that have been, just complacent and comfortable. They're okay with it. They're okay with evil evil just growing around them, just getting more perverted. Because you know what? Guess what? Jake is perverted. John the 3rd chapter, men love darkness rather than light. Okay? So Jake is okay with being in this darkened, low-level state as long as they got, their chicken, as long as they got their, their blunts, as long as they got their drink, as long as they got, they can watch TV all goddamn day. You got Jakes that literally watch TV all day. They'll just sit in the couch and eat food and then watch TV. That's their whole existence. Okay, when football season comes in, that's all that they're geared towards. They'll have their little job, they'll come home, have some beers, and they'll watch their football, they'll watch their show. Okay? They'll turn on news every once in a while, they'll just watch, they'll watch some news. Be upset when Esau tells them to be upset. Be okay with something when Esau tells them to be okay. Meanwhile, their life is getting harder. All right? And Jesus is saying, just keep praying to me. Keep praying to me. And you have these Jake pastors that just keep, beating our people down with Jesus. Still holding on to Jesus. And well, I'll say this, you got a lot of Jakes that's leaving Jesus and they go on to another God, a so-called Israelite God, Yeshua or Yehoshua or Yahweh. You got a lot of bug outs. You got a lot of bug outs, okay, that woke up to the fact that they're Israelites. I've said, watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night, ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silent. So an indicator of a man of the Lord, an indicator of a watchman, he will be complaining about all this bullshit that's going on earth. And it will be a nonstop thing. Okay? And regardless of his so-called economic, social status, okay, he's gonna call it out. It don't matter who it is. All right, if it's somebody that's claiming that they're Israelite, he's gonna call them out. All right, if Esau, he gonna call him out. The heathen, he gonna call him out. He gonna curse everybody out, and he's gonna warn. Okay, and he's gonna warn his people what the Most High is getting ready to do. All right, because Jake, I was watching the elder Yashawamba, Shalom, and he's basically doing a video on, Jake's misconception about Jacob's trouble. I forget exactly how he titled, but I literally just had a small experience that same day that video came out with an Israelite, an uninformed Israelite, basically, waking up to the fact that Israelite thinking that we already went through our trouble. We already went through our trouble. Because that's the mindset of Jake. Oh, yeah, we went to slavery, went to hardcore slavery. Da, da, da. Yeah, we did. That was our punishment, dummy. But now all of a sudden we just here in America. We just here in America. We just chilling. Nah, the Lord is going to pull his elect out, and he's going to pull them through. He's going to pull them out of trouble. Okay, Jake would rather go back into slavery. Jake actually loves slavery. Is Israel a homeborn slave? And we're saying there's this last trouble that's getting ready to come. And the Lord's getting ready to prove who his servants are. All right. And our people, they're rebellious to it because it has not affected them just yet. Well, ask some of them Latin tribes. That's troubling for motherfucking ICE agents 30 deep to roll on your ass with helicopters and motherfucking tanks and shit. Open up the door. You've been here 5-6 years. All right. You got family. Your daughter's a so-called U.S. citizen. And they come and rip everybody out. Slap cuffs on your ass. Children butt naked out, Fucking guns to your face. Knee in your back. Knee on your neck. Ask them if they ain't in trouble. And then your ass get thrown in a cage. You get separated from your family. That's what the scriptures literally tell us that. And you so-called blacks, you believe that that's not going to happen to you. You believe that that's just happening to the Latin tribes. Well, he's getting ready to roll on you YNs. That's going to be the excuse to come into the so-called black community. He's getting ready to roll on Pookie. Getting ready to roll on Ray Ray. He's getting ready to roll on Keisha, Shirley, Debo, Trayvon. All right, all you George Floyds, all you Jakes. All right, and any of you so-called upper class Jakes, you got a problem with it? All right, because those are your family members. Any of you Jakes got a problem with it, your ass can get it too. All right, so that trouble's coming for you too as well. Don't think that you're absolved, and this is what we're telling Jake, and Jake's just walking up and down like nothing is going on. Everything is cool. Everything is fine until that trouble spring upon your ass suddenly. And you know, we love it. And we're watching it actually build up right now, and we get energy from it. Okay, we get energy from the prophecies because this marks the sign of our salvation, okay, and the destruction of Esau, as well as the end of all the degeneracy amongst Jacob, okay, because that bothers us too, the degeneracy, okay, wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge, you know, to watch your people just roam the earth, okay, in a dead state. Ezekiel was like, can these bones live? Or the angel actually asked, can these bones live? And Ezekiel was like, hey, you tell me. Shit, they through to me. But it's only the Spirit of the Lord that these bones started to live. And now that started with the elect. Okay, I was going to get another scripture, but let me get, it's in Isaiah. It's in a couple of places. Bear with me. Okay. It's like in a couple of places. Yeah, we'll go to, let's go to Isaiah 13. Isaiah 13, and let me start up. And 13, therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. Okay, the day of the Lord's fierce anger is getting ready to come upon the earth because of these demonic activities that are going on. This is just another example. There's so many other examples. Okay, they're perverting everything, and this is what the devil was supposed to do. This is what the devil was doing. This is what a devil would do. If there were to be any people that's doing this, all right, that's the devil, then it's the people that's actually doing it. How much proof do you need? But Jake is under that gross darkness, okay? And it shall be as a chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of these immigrants or that are here actually legally, that got legal status here in America, these Chinese and these Arabs and, you know, these different nations. They came over here legally that built up, you know, particular, you know, nest eggs here, where they're gonna flee to their own country, okay, because that's how bad it's gonna get. All right, every one that shall be found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto him shall fall by the sword. Yeah, because ultimately chaos is getting ready to pursue. Civil war is going to pursue, but ultimately it's going to be those nuclear missiles that's going to finish off the job. All right, and take out all these people that are here that are not part of the elect. Okay, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. And that's coming. What does the word ravish mean? That's coming. See, this whole woke, politically correct, sodomite spirit that's out here, and especially these women that are puffed up, that have been, you know, proud and, you know, I can do bad by myself. I don't need a man. Well, you're going to be humbled very soon. Well, you see what Esau's doing with the EBT. He's cutting billions of dollars of funding to the federal EBT program. Remember, it's federal. All right, you have the states also have their EBT, but it's backed up by federal. So in certain cases, if say California, okay, we put 50 million, then the federal government will match it or give it more to actually make the program actually doable. But what's going on is there's being limitations put on the EBT. All right, you can only be on it for so many years. You have to meet certain requirements, and you got to work, 60 hours, something like that, a month, some crazy shit. And certain states, they might have to just drop the program just all at once, because it can't be sustained. And simultaneously, while that's happening, all the EBT nationwide is being moved over to a RFID technology. So now the new EBT cards are moving out, they now start to have the chip now. And this is nationwide. So we can already see how that snare was laid. These women getting $500, $600, $700, $1,000 worth of EBT to help feed their family. They've been doing that for years, all right, month. And then all of a sudden they get kicked off. You don't think they're going to take the chip? Absolutely. Okay. All right, so they said their children are going to be dashed into pieces. All right, their houses are going to be spoiled. Their wives are going to be ravished. All right, right in front of their eyes. This is the very terrible time that we're coming into. Okay. Because of the activities like we just displayed in that video, and amongst other things, especially that whole alphabet thing. The Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, and Sodom, it was 5 cities. All right, but the Lord destroyed that because of that. How much more America, which allowed, like they promote it. Shit, you can get a goddamn TV show. You could be you could become a multi-millionaire if your ass is a flamer, especially if you were Jake. If you were Jake Flamer, oh man, you gonna get a bag. So they want that influence. They want that influence. They want that public perception of you, Jakes, you either being a criminal, okay, a coon, or a goddamn sodomite, okay? Either you a YN, all right, you a corporate nigga that take follow orders, all right, or you switch and you vogue, okay? You're emasculated, okay? You're easily mowed down, okay? Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. And those Medes is talking about those Russians, okay, because they're within that land. Now, those ancient the ancient Medes was a Japhetic nation. They were pushed out of that nation, and now we have those Russians. And those, that Northern Army, bro, they ain't playing. Them Russians. But you got a lot of Jakes that's mingled amongst them too. You know, the Scythians that started, the barbarians, the Scythians that started that land over there. St. Petersburg, that was the capital of Russia, right? That was a Jake. Okay. So, and then Putin released the vault of the Lord being a dark-skinned man. So they have all the, they have the information. They know, everybody knows, but Jake. Jake is the one that's bucking up. When I say Jake, meaning Jacob, the Israelites. They're the one that's bucking up. And there is no outcry of this evil that's going on in the earth. The other scripture I was going to give where it talks about who will rise up for me against the evildoer. Okay? Right? We read in Isaiah, the Lord set watchmen up that would basically complain night and day. They're not going to keep their silence. I should have read down until it says, until you make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. Okay, so the Lord is rising up, rallying up, inciting, kindling, all right, his anger that he's going to put in those Russians. They're going to have an evil thought. The scriptures talk about how they're going to have an evil thought. The Lord's going to put hooks in their jaws and bring them forth. He's going to bring them into the battle. Because these nations actually don't want to go to war with each other, especially go to war with America, all right, because nuclear missiles are going to be involved and it's going to destroy everything. Yet the Lord is mustering the host of the battle. He's sending down his mighty ones, the angels. And a lot of these, skirmishes, a lot of these different battles that are going on, there's always chariot sightings around. Because the Lord, he has the mighty ones, the angels that's stirring up the minds of these soldiers, of these generals, of these admirals. All right, of these kings, of these different nations to go to battle with each other, not to agree on anything. all right, to come against Babylon the Great. And they're watching all this sick shit going on. And you have in a lot of these countries, they ban this type of shit. You actually will go to jail. Okay, you can't just be open sodomite in a lot of these countries. Open sodomite in Russia, which they have them, but they won't allow you to be an open sodomite. They'll actually lock your ass up. In China, they'll lock your ass up. Do these other nations get down? Yes, they get down. They're freaks. But America, under Esau Edom, I mean, this shit is just out of control. This shit is buck wild. It's a goddamn, America is one big freak off. And that's why Jake loved it so much, because Jake liked to get freaky. Jake freaky. Okay. It says, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So this is speaking about a upcoming event that the prophet Isaiah saw. Okay, the prophet Jeremiah saw, the prophet Haggai saw, the prophet Habakkuk saw. All these prophets saw. Peter saw, Paul saw, all the prophets saw. Enoch saw. All the prophets saw. Moses saw it. Ezra saw it. They saw what we're getting ready to experience now. Okay, and now we understand why the Most High is going to bring in this amount of judgment upon the people. He's getting ready to take these people the fuck out. Okay, because nobody is really complaining about what's actually going on, save the Israelites. People do have complaints, but it's because they're being taxed too much, so they don't have disposable income like they used to be a goddamn demon. Because what would they do with their disposable income? Buy shit that they don't need to buy, party harder, take more drugs, go to different countries and pervert people, sex tourism. Okay, drink, basically eat, drink, and be merry. You know, live their best life. Folly. Nothing that's going to actually move society forward. But society cannot be moved forward. The Edomites in a way. So what is the Lord going to do? Well, the scriptures tell you in 2 Thessalonians, he who will now let until he be taken out of the way. Meaning the Most High, he's allowing this to happen in order to bring in his divine judgment. Okay, it's the ultimate trap. Okay, Babylon is caught, all right, and was not aware. I believe that's Jeremiah the 50th chapter. Okay, maybe 22 or 23, something like that. All right, their bows. The bows is talking about the nuclear missiles. What else could it be? The Medes, they're going to shoot bows on America. The ancient Medes are coming and they're going to get the bow and arrow. No, this is talking about the modern bow and arrow, which is the missile silo. Okay, and the projectile, the actual nuclear missile. Okay, and we're at the height of nuclear war, and you're hearing more of nuclear war talk every single day. But there's a lot of folly. You got the basketball game. You got Jake Paul getting ready to fight Tank Davis. You know, Floyd Mayweather getting ready to come out of retirement. He talking about coming out of retirement to fight Terrence Crawford. You got the NBA. I'm not sure if NBA is going on, but the NFL is going on. Then you can, you know, it's just a fucking big mess. Then you got all these psyops going on. You got ICE rolling on motherfuckers. You got the National Guard coming in. You got different courts blocking the National Guard from coming in, like Oregon. So it's a big fucking mess. Meanwhile, these nations are building alliances with each other. They're spending all their money in defense. America has said, hey, look, we are now going on the offense. And that includes the American people. In particular, code word, you so-called Black Hispanic Native Americans. He's mounting up. The excuse is already there. The excuse is already there to get you. Okay, and that was years and years of just letting you just go buck wild. Letting you commit crimes, letting you steal, letting you, shoot guns, letting you rap. Building the image online, building the image within your media and within the media, these movies and these shows, and getting Jake to play a particular role, the thug, the gangster, setting up gangster rap, and having Jake perpetuate that and actually live by those standards. Now you have the excuse. They're selling drugs to each other. Look how many people are dying because of drugs. Look how many people are dying because of sex trafficking. Look how many people are dying because of gun violence. Who's committing all these crimes? And Jake is committing crimes. That is 100% true. Jake is committing all these crimes, but the crimes that Jake commits is not even in comparison to the shit that Esau does. Okay, that's hidden. He has the power to hide that, but it's so much that he can't hide it now. He's being called out. That's the insurrection. I'm sorry, that's the Inquisition, which is a period of intense and prolonged questioning and investigation. And that's being done through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai, through the prophets, first and foremost. And then he has his own tongue is falling upon him. Satan is divided against himself, so it's just a big mess. And this is just a sign that his kingdom will not stand. His kingdom is actually falling. We're going into the 250 year, next year of his empire. And he does the study that empire lasts about 250 years. So what makes him greater than any other empire? It's going to go down. Okay, and it's going to go down in spectacular fashion. It's going to go down. It's going to go down in violence. Okay, and he's being told what's going to happen before it happens, and everybody's getting warned. So again, when the judgment go down, we not gonna fucking shed a tear. All right, we gonna actually praise Yahweh Bashim Shai. We gonna pop bottles when the Lord start rolling on Jake. All right, I get a kick out of the ICE videos, the National Guard video. I get a kick out of it. All right, the military, they're different from the police. They're on some no nonsense type shit. They're trained to kill. They're trained for you to fucking follow their orders. They don't want to hear shit. They got the power in their hand. And you American people are gonna find out very soon. But let me finish this up and we're gonna wrap it up. Okay, their bows shall also dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, okay, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And we know how Sodom and Gomorrah, all right, was overthrown. It was overthrown by fire. Okay, and that fire is going to be, that fire is now reincarnated as the nuclear missiles. It's the same technology. Okay, the Lord gave Esau this technology, okay, to basically destroy himself. Okay, it shall never be inhabited. Why? Because it's fucking degenerate, man. It's defiled. It's filthy, and it has the blood of the saints. Okay, and it's going to be left as a gazing stock, a memorial that the Lord is going to leave here to show you what He did to a nation that was totally given over to Satan. Okay. And it's going to be a new high holy day that's going to be celebrated, okay, when this place fucking goes down, okay? And if you don't like cursing, well, then, it's very simple. Go back to the Christian church. I mean, there's literally billions of videos online. You can go watch a dog video, okay? But we gonna tell you the truth, okay? Undiluted, unfiltered, okay, raw, unprocessed. And if you don't like it, well, then, maybe this truth is not for you. All right? Because when Esau start coming and start killing people, he ain't trying to, you got to talk nice to us. All that shit's getting done away with. Okay? It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there. None of these goddamn, these Ishmaelites gonna come over and make money, open up smoke shops, making halal camel meat burgers. Okay. Shish kebabs. Okay. Neither shall their shepherds make their fold there, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. And owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant places. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. Right? Because the Lord is going to swiftly come upon this goddamn place. Okay, and it's going to take the whole world by surprise. It's going to take you Americans, you Babylonians. It's going to take you Jakes that think everything a goddamn joke. You Israelites. It's going to take you by surprise when those that your spirit ain't right. Okay, the Babylon's days are not going to be prolonged. This place is getting ready to meet its maker. Okay, and it's just going to be so beautiful to see the terror and the fear on these people's faces. That's what that alone. Well, what did the scripture say? Sirach 25. There be 9 things in my heart that I judge to be happy, and a 10th I will utter with my mouth. A man that have joy over his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemies. Okay, that's going to give us so much pleasure, and we are getting pleasure from watching the Most High work. It is time for thee, O Lord, to work. Okay, arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So yeah, there's terrible things coming, but we have the mindset of salvation. We have the mindset of victory, the mindset of winning. Okay, through the sacrifice of Yahweh Shai and through faith, this testimony. Okay, and following and rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of our ability and praying first and foremost to Yahweh Shai. So hey, look, I'm gonna close it there. Until next time, shalom to the elect.